All right, so the secret to going live somewhere on some platform and actually looking like a celebrity is to print to do exactly that. To pretend like you know what the heck you're talking about. Howdy, ladies and gents. I'm Urbanski, also known as the Millionaire Marketing Mentor. Welcome to another episode of Shenanigans called Revenue Rev Up TV with yours truly, Adam Urbanski, and my faithful co-hosts here, Lisa and Bo. Ladies, you want to say hi? What are you known for? Lisa, you need some sort of moniker. Lisa the who?
The Enforcer.
Lisa the Enforcer. Benavides. Oh, right. All right, Bo, you're going to be doing like a Polish dance or something? What's your moniker?
Bo, the Connector, Urbanski.
All right, showing up.
I czołem.
Showing up.
Polish for you.
All right, showing up in the nick of time. Wait a second. There we go.
Yay!
Wow. Can you hear it?
No. We can see you.
All right. Well, Michelle is here in spirit. We can see Michelle's spirit. Not so much her vocal cords, I think, but we'll see. Anyway, no, we're going to talk about Marketing Accelerator. So I've always struggled with branding and celebrity. I always just kind of do what I need to do, focus on results, focusing on delivering on my promises, and sort of figure that the branding and all of that stuff will take care of itself. And only in the last few years, I started paying more attention, admittingly, still haphazardly, but I have had a number of clients that provide branding, marketing, celebrity creation, celebrity platform creation type thing. So I've learned a lot from them. And I've also realized in the process of helping them do what they do and reach more clients, you know, that the best way to describe really building a celebrity-like platform and status, that it's a marketing multiplier. It's an accelerator. Because if you can position yourself, if you can turn yourself into quasi-celebrity, you don't have to be an A-lister. There we go. Michelle ditched us again. All right. We'll wait until she comes back again. There we go. I actually look way better than I'm bigger than the two of you ladies, at least on a screen for the time being. So I think it's only fair. Anyway, so I figured it's a multiplier because whatever you do advertising. Even if you show up networking in place, if you have a little bit of a cachet as a persona, as a celebrity, then you're going to walk into the room and everyone's going to go like, oh, look, it's that person for whatever reason. You know, when I first got started in my business, Bo, you remember this. At least I don't know if you still remember. But my first website back in 2000, I think it was like, it wasn't my first, my second website. I had a photo shoot in like a guy's garage. He was just getting started with his photography. And it was hilarious because it was hot as hell. He didn't have good ventilation in there and all his heat lamps. And I'm in a suit and tie. And, you know, so he's taking some pictures. I don't have my pants on because it's too hot. I'm sweating. But you only shoot from the top up anyway, right? So who cares? But I had this picture of like me holding a board. So it's kind of like, you know, here I am, ta-da, pointing to something. So back then, there weren't many images or sites that featured things like this. So when I went to networking, people went, oh, you that board holding guy on the website. I was like, yeah, I'm that guy. So anyway, we're going to talk about how to turn yourself into a celebrity today. Is that about right, Lisa?
It is.
All right. You know, I always see myself kind of in a slow mode on my feedback monitor. So I'm always questioning, when my lips are moving, are people actually hearing? Is the sound coming out? But anyway, apparently. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it all looks good, Adam. So you are good in that.
All right. Well, thank you. I definitely know I'm good looking.
For sure.
And then I wake up. Wow. All right. So Lisa, Bo, we got some things to do before we get into meat and potatoes. We got some things to do. So number one, some calls to action. It's a marketing show after all. We're supposed to be generating leads or something. We've got some awards to give away or 7,000 books to send to someone's garage for storage, things like this. So who's handling that?
I will start. So yes, we want you to be a participant with us today as you're listening. If you hear something smart that we say or share that you think is really cool, we'd love for you to share that in the comments with the hashtag GOLD, GOLD, and let us know what takeaways are resonating with you that you're loving, and we will send you a surprise book next week. Today, we are announcing our winners from last week, and I want to make sure I pronounce names right.